Introduction of purchasing. Purchasing plays a critical role in the hospitality industry. It is the person in charge of purchasing who spends most of the money made by a hospitality operation. It is his or her skills and knowledge that significantly assist in the profitability of the organization. It is the process of obtaining goods and services, including all of the activities associated with determining the types of products needed, making purchases, receiving, storing shipments, and administering purchase contracts. Purchasing process. It begins with identifying the needs, then move on to writing the specifications. After that, we develop the purchase order. There are two methods used. The first one is the formal method, where parties involved issue a bid request, then bids are tabulated and evaluated. Contract is awarded to those who wins the bidding process. Meanwhile, for the informal method, price quotations are given, the selecting party will select the vendor and place order. It then follows by receiving and inspecting the deliveries. Received items are stored in proper area. Lastly, evaluate and follow up. Purchasing objectives. Industry experts suggest several goals for the purchasing function. Continuing research into this issue shows that the purchasing department must achieve 5 significant objectives. Maintain an adequate supply. No hospitality operator enjoys running out of products. Stockouts are intolerable. They hinder an operator's customer service goals. Thus, an adequate stock level prevents running out of item deliveries, which is crucial to good management. Minimize investment. This objective seems to conflict with the first. How can buyers maintain an uninterrupted supply while, at the same time, minimize the number of dollars tied up in inventory? This question suggests that buyers must find some kind of trade-off between the investment level and the risk of running out. Most operators expect a buyer to compromise by optimizing the investment level and, at the same time, ensuring a continual flow of products. Maintain quality. Maintaining quality is not quite the same as establishing the firm's desired level of quality. Some buyers have comparatively little to say about the quality of products they must purchase. However, they do have a significant responsibility to make sure that, once set, the quality standards vary only within acceptable limits. For some products, such as liquor and soap, brand names ensure uniform quality. Unfortunately, the quality of fresh foods can change drastically from day to day and from one supplier to the next. This situation can make it incredibly challenging to maintain quality standards. Besides, occasional overbuying or a sudden breakdown in storage facilities, particularly refrigeration facilities, can wreak havoc on quality standards. Regardless of the associated difficulties, however, operators insist that their buyers maintain quality control. Obtain the lowest possible edible portion cost. As we mentioned earlier, the as purchase price is only the beginning. Unfortunately, some buyers entranced by a low AP price and tend to overlook the fact that the EP cost is the relevant price consideration. Many operators think in terms of steak price per pound or liquid detergent price per gallon. What should be paramount in their thinking is the steak cost per servable pound or the liquid detergent cost per square foot of dirty tile. In other words, the EP cost is most critical, and management understandably expects its buyers to recognize this fact and endeavor to achieve the lowest possible EP cost and, ultimately, the best possible value. Maintain the company's competitive position. As far as we have been able to determine, management's main concern here is to get the same or a better deal from a supplier than any other comparable hospitality enterprise. Unfortunately, this goal is challenging to achieve. Although EP cost and quality may be more or less uniform, suppliers often apply their supplier services unevenly among buyers. You may recall that these supplier services add to the overall value of a product or service, provided that the quality and EP cost remains constant. If we receive fewer supplier services, theoretically, we receive less value for our money. This value loss places us at a competitive disadvantage. purchasing activities. There are few purchasing activities involved during the process. They are recipe development, menu development, then specifications writing, approval of buying sources, the designation of approved brands, followed by supplier evaluation, negotiation with suppliers, if required, change of suppliers or brands, even substitution of approved items. Then, we have approval of new products, invoice approval, then invoice payment, and lastly order placement with supplier. Purchasing procedure. Purchasing is the series of activities designed to obtain products of the right quality and quantity, at the right place and time, and from the right sources. Since the purchasing cycle involves various procedures, many activities must be controlled when designing and managing purchasing tasks. The purchasing cycle involves the following activities. The food and beverage department requests products from the storeroom. If available, the storeroom will issue the required product. If not, the storeroom will make a purchase requisition to the purchasing department. Then, from there it will be forwarded as purchase order or recalled to 3 branches, which are to the receiving department, accounting and supplier. The supplier will supply the product with delivery invoice to the receiving department. The receiving department will store the product to the storeroom and submit the delivery invoice to the accounting. From there, they will make the payment to the supplier once the cycle has finished. Supply chain management. As today's supply chain becomes more complex and time-sensitive, purchasers must assume responsibility for developing and managing the total supply system. Materials management. Purchasers are responsible for the receipt, transportation, scheduling and planning, and warehousing of purchased materials. Sourcing. Matching purchasing requirements with sources of supply, ensuring continuity of supply, exploring alternative sources of supply, and validating supplier compliance to ensure goods and services meet or exceed buyer criteria for quality, delivery, quantity, and price. Value analysis. Increase the value-added elements of the purchasing process. Value analysis can consist of such components as the price for the quality received, financing, and delivery. Supplier development. Pursuing capabilities that promote supplier partnering require buyers to know supplier capacities, resources, product lines, delivery, and information system capabilities. Internal integration. Purchasing needs to closely integrate with other enterprise business areas, such as marketing, sales, inventory planning, transportation, and quality management. Supplier scheduling. By sharing the schedule of demand from MRP, reorder point, and distribution requirements planning techniques, purchasing can provide detailed visibility of future company requirements to supply chain partners. In turn, the partners can plan the necessary material and capacity resources to support the schedule. Contracting. Development and analysis of the request for quotation. Negotiation when pricing, volume, length of contract time, specific designs or specifications are issues. And supplier selection and monitoring of performance measurements. Cost management. It is essential to continuously search for ways to reduce administrative costs, purchase prices, and inventory carrying costs while increasing the value of goods and services. Purchasing and receiving. Responsibilities include everyday purchasing activities associated with order preparation, order entry, order transmission, status reporting, order receiving, quantity checking, stock put away, invoice and discount review, and order closeout. Performance measurement. Monitoring the quality and delivery performance of suppliers is an integral part of supplier benchmarking. The ability to measure performance is critical when evaluating competing suppliers' capabilities. Selecting supplier. Managers in food and beverage operations should choose supplier carefully. The food and beverage manager bases supplier evaluations on the consistency of correct quality products, reasonable prices, prompt delivery, service, including product information. Important factors to consider when selecting a supplier: location, quality of the supplier's operation, the technical ability of the supplier's staff, value, compatibility, honesty and fairness, delivery personnel. The purchasing order system. Before the purchasing process begins, the food and beverage operation should have established minimum quality standards and provided them to potential suppliers. Calculated quantities of products to be purchased. Determine order points for each purchased item. Consider eligible suppliers. The purchase order is sent by mail, fax, or electronically to the supplier. The purchase order formally identifies the product, quantity, unit cost, and total cost that both suppliers and purchasers have agreed on. In addition, the purchase order may include guarantees, warranties, payment requirements, inspections rights, hold harmless provisions, and other legal and contractual concerns. Electronic purchasing systems maintain ingredients files, recipe files, menu item files, and inventory files. Purchasing the proper qualities and quantities. Purchasing the proper qualities. The purchasing function refers to a product's suitability for its intended use. The more suitable a product, the higher quality. Decisions about quality requirements made when the business goals established and subsequent marketing plans developed. The purchasing department should develop specifications for most products purchased. Many guests judge the overall quality of the restaurant in part by the quality of house brand available. Purchasing the proper quantities. It is vital to develop correct quantity specifications. Too much of the product ordered is cash flow problems, increased storage costs, deterioration of quality or damaged products, increased potential for theft and pilferage, purchasing insufficient quantities. Par stock is the maximum quantity of a given item that should be on hand after the most recent order received.